Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 191 of the Audible Farm podcast, and this episode's brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. I just ordered some more Couchtown. I actually went a couple days without coffee just to try it. I don't recommend it. I like coffee. I'm going to drink it probably every morning, and I'm probably going to get Couchtown. I'll tell you that right now. I tried some other coffees this week, and they didn't cut the mustard. I got more Couchtown coming. And I'll tell you what, I just can't wait. I can't wait. It'll be here tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, oh gosh, I can't wait. Couchtown Coffee, www.couchtowncoffee.com. They've got coffees listed there. You can tell them how you want it roasted. They'll ship it directly to your house. It's not going to get much better than that. It's not going to get much better than that. You know how it gets better is if you use the code word Audible Farm when you make an order, they will give you 20% off. Why? Because Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. Check them out. This week, I'm sitting down with my buddy, Clint Riedel. Me and Clint have played a couple shows together this year, here and there. You know, we see each other at jam nights, and he's always just one of my favorite people to sit down and talk with about anything. It really doesn't matter what we talk about. And this week, we're kind of all over the map. I had seen some posts online recently that kind of sparked my interest, so I brought him up to Clint just to see what his take on some of those things were. We talk about places he's played in the recent past as well as shows he has coming up. So, yeah, this is a good episode, and we recorded this at Amigos in Fort Dodge, Iowa, so this is a pretty fun one. Check it out. It's episode 191 with Clint Riedel.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
Well, yeah, anyways, we're sitting down outside. I'm talking with Clint Riedel. It's been a while since you've been on the podcast.
Yeah, buddy.
But it really hasn't, you know, because it's only been probably 15 or 20 episodes maybe. But
really?
Maybe tops.
It felt like last fall.
It feels like, well, I mean, that's a weird thing about doing a weekly podcast is like...
20 weeks slide by and it's a new season.
Yeah, exactly. It's 26 weeks is half a year.
Yeah.
So if it's been 20 weeks, it's been half a year. But I honestly haven't looked up. For all I know, it's been 5 episodes. You know, you're on here quite a bit. But
Word.
This is the first time we've This is the first time we've ever done a podcast outside, I think. I've done them before, but...
Yeah, that kind of... It's just so nice out today. I was like, hey, man, let's go hang out at one of these venues that hires us dirty musicians to play some music.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sitting at Amigos.
We're sitting down at Amigos today, sitting down talking. It's weird. My headphones... I don't have headphones with me that work, so I'm doing this all with no headphones. We're doing it outside. It's going to be pretty nice. I don't know.
Seems to be a volleyball tournament about to start.
Might be a tournament. I'm not 100% sure what's going on here, but there's always something going on down here at Amigos.
Word.
And I don't spend too much time here, actually, but like the last time I was here, I played here, and I saw some people ordering the pizza, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta come back for some pizza. It looks so good.
Yeah, this is definitely, I support all the places that support me. I drink in it, even if I didn't play there, I'd drink there. But this is my summertime bar, this and sneakers, you're on the deck. And,
yeah.
In the wintertime, I'm not gonna lie, Amigos is a little claustrophobic for me. But I'm also easily anxious like that,
Mm-hmm.
Too many people, and I'm short as hell. It's like, I gotta get out.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody can see it. There's probably, a tree and us in the way, but the river's right back over here, and it looks absolutely amazing when you sit over there on the deck out behind Amigos. And we were playing over there, and then when you play outside, you just play on the patio right over there too. So
this is the first place that Caleb Ferry and I played together, so it was like the birthplace of the Ramblers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I
That's
went in
cool.
for a coffee, and I was like, you're that guy. And he's like, yeah, I've been looking for you. I'm like, I've been looking for you. So I was like, I got a gig at Amigos tonight. What do you think? He's like, sure. So he came and drummed, and we didn't even have a name. So
awesome.
we went with those two wolves after the show.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me that before. That's awesome. That's really cool. Is there any footage or anything of that? Or?
There's some rare pictures, but I don't know if anyone took video. Actually, that's a good question to pose to the listeners. If you've got any weird, rare highlights of me being a jackass with a guitar, send it my way. It'd be fun to look back on.
Yeah. I mean, that's something even I recently did. I was going through my phone cleaning some things out, and I was just like, I've got a lot of pictures of a lot of people or venues or... I go to places, and if the mood strikes me, I'll take pictures, and, there's 50 pictures in a pile there, and it's like,
Yep.
eventually I'll just like delete all the junky ones, and I'm like, I'll resend these to the person if they want to see them. They can see them then, and I'll just get them off my phone or whatever. But
it's nice to have that availability too. Think of all those shows in the 90s and early 2000s when like cell phones weren't like, capable of taking beautiful pictures and stuff. Even if you did have one of those sweet flip phones with a decent camera, like you weren't bothering it, at the shows. So
that just makes me think about like there is like this is the most 90s thing ever or something, and it's like LeBron James taking a picture of Stone Cold on a flip phone when he was a teenager, and it's like, oh, yeah, and it just makes me think about all those times that I still have pretty much every phone I've ever, well, I do have pretty much every phone I've ever had. I've only ever like lost a couple, and I've never traded one in, but I still have like all those photos, and like I've tried my best to like save all the ones that I wanted to, but it's funny when you pull up a phone, like a flip phone picture, and it is just absolutely tiny. It looks like junk.
It looks like the Snake game, just a picture.
Yeah, and it's crazy how like good pictures look now. Like you can just take insane pictures with a phone. Like I record a lot of video with my phone.
This video is probably going to be better footage than like anyone could have done with a high class actual like cinema. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just so weird. Like I've got an old television at home, and watching that reminds me of what I used to think the world looked like, and now like you get on the Facebook and you look at it and you're like, holy shit, everything is so crisp. Like it's just insanity.
Yeah, everything used to be a lot warmer looking,
Yep.
I think that's very apparent when I watch, and this is going to sound weird, but like you see it a lot in sports, I would definitely have to say. So like sports usually taking like a video and a photo aspect, they take like something that's slightly artistic and then apply it in a fashion that's like easily digestible and then like applicable to the situation. So you think about like just the way like lighting has changed over the years and the way cameras have changed over the years. And if you get some of those like crazy angles they show like the replays of like on the 80s basketball stuff or like the highlight reels that aren't just the main camera from like up above, they every now and then will like scan with the ball and you'll see in the background the lights, and they'll have this, there's a bug in my face. There was like a big like light streak that goes with the light because it like burns it into the...
Yeah, just can't keep up with it.
Exactly, yeah. So like that's the kind of stuff that I kind of miss that happening,
Me too. Like
nowadays.
I'm watching that Me TV because I've got an antenna, and it's like all MASH and Matlock and Andy Griffith. It's like, it's just so nice. And then even watching like old documentaries in black and white, it's like, it makes something that is horrific look almost tolerable, like war and stuff. When you see like, John Prine said it, what blood looks like in a black and white photo, shadows.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look as bad. As a matter of fact, there's so like this is gonna sound weird, but like the WWE they like have this like agreement where they're trying to be like basically like a kids show.
Sure.
It's not explicitly written that way, and for a while it was explicitly like PG. They had an agreement with a toy company to manufacture toys as long as the shows were like PG and made for kids.
Yeah.
And so like I'm fairly certain that was the business deal they signed, but so they went a long time where they wouldn't show any blood, and if they wanted to show a replay of something or like this is what happened 3 years ago when these guys wrestled, and they'd have to like show the clips in black and white because that doesn't look
not as offensive.
It literally takes so much of the offensiveness out, which is wild because I mean, that makes me think about when they did that colorized version of World War II. Do you remember when that came out?
Yeah, you bet.
That was a fairly big deal. I don't know if it's probably on PBS or something, but it was that's another one where it's like, man, this actually makes it adds realism to it that wasn't there before. So
yeah, and I hate to like quote Jamie Johnson or Jimmy Johnson, whoever, but like that you should have seen it in color. It's like America couldn't tolerate it if we watched it in color.
Gosh.
Like the brutality of like the '60s, like the freedom marches and stuff when students are just getting bashed over the head. If like America could have saw that as they would on an iPhone today, they'd have been like, nope, let's quit this now.
Yeah, I think that's something that's kind of mind blowing too about history. Is like back in the day, you didn't have constant communication and like 24-hour news that was instantly updated based on the fact that we have like there's no longer telecommunications. It's satellite and everything's instantly in your hand on your phone. And,
you're live streaming the action as it takes place.
And it's like you said, back then if there was a lot of things that were going on, nowadays, even back then, like people would have probably outraged quite a bit more than they did,
In the 80s, they blamed these guys on the background music. I think it's like, is that Judas Priest playing? I don't know.
It's not Judas Priest, but yes, they did blame them. But yeah, I mean that's like goes to the power of music, I guess, like, and also the scapegoatiness of everybody. Like, people just want to like pick a scapegoat and blame them for everything.
Oh yeah.
So, which kind of like brings me to another. Oh, there goes volleyball. Which brings me to another aspect of like something. So, there's multiple groups online for like posting music stuff, and one of them is, I believe it's called the Des Moines Music Scene. So there was somebody had posted in there that they were looking for somebody to book a show, and they were going to pay him $50, and all they had to do was play an hour. And it was a private event. It was small. They were looking, like I said, it was $50, and they said they would feed you. You know, so it's like not a horrible deal if it's in your backyard.
Yeah.
It's not a horrible deal.
For sure.
But at the same time, like, kind of not the best deal. You know, like, so that's pretty much what happened on the internet. Was a lot of people were just like, oh, that's bull crap, you know, like who would take this, and, you know, don't lowball, and it turned into a big deal. And it kind of makes sense. I feel it very much both ways.
Was it a venue, or was it like a private party?
Private event. For all I know, it was somebody's house.
Those people all let off the hook, but like when a venue guy comes up to you and makes you buy your own beer, and like at the end of the night, you know, the band owes them $140 because that's happened. It's like, oh man, I don't know. I don't think this is my spot. And then, but yeah, I will give the private guy a pass. Like, he doesn't know what we, you know, $100 an hour is not a lot to ask because we drive, we practice.
He
pack.
doesn't have a business to back him up either.
Yeah,
you know?
He's just trying to throw a good time for his friends apparently, and doesn't understand the ends of the music.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. There definitely has to be a pass there. For anybody wondering, like I said, I think it was the Des Moines Music Scene was the group that it was posted in, and it's there. The post is still there as far as like the day I'm recording this, and it should be up still when the podcast comes out, unless some things get really hairy. Nobody said anything mean. A lot of people are just pretty much like, this isn't worth my time. Like, if you want me to come, it's going to be like $100 or $200 an hour. You know, you're seeing some people throw out $300 an hour, which is like
crazy good money.
That's good money. It's not. I'm not gonna say I've made $300 an hour, but it's not.
There's a rarity, but you know, you don't expect it.
Yeah, it's not impossible.
Yep.
You know, for even people like us or whatever. But like, I think the whole aspect of what kind of made it weird was like I've worked for $50 an hour before, and I'm okay with it. But a lot of times it's like, well, this show's really nearby me. I bring minimal gear. You know, I just pretty much just show up, plug in, and play, and I don't have to do anything. You know, so like,
I've lost money over a weekend just because wanting to play a certain venue. You know, like driving to Kansas City after it's all said and done, hotel rooms and gas, and especially nowadays, it's just like, well, I spent $50 and had a pretty good show.
Yeah.
And that's not a big loss because I'd spend that at the bar, but at the same time, when it's your only profession, you might want to hold on to it.
That's true. So I think a lot of what that has to come down for is like if the show's in Des Moines, I'm just throwing out this isn't specific, I'm not pointing anyone out, but if the show's in Des Moines and like let's say you live in like a Tumwa or something, you know, like of course you're not going to drive to Des Moines for $50. Like, I get it. But like also if you live in
Hey, good, how are you?
If you live in Des Moines, like that's another thing that makes me think, like, you know, like I said, if this show was in your backyard, if you had to go like, you know, 10 blocks away and all you had to do was like an acoustic guitar and like one speaker,
yes please,
you know,
yeah,
like that's all, it's okay. You know, I would do that for free food, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody else pointed out that like the event was likely before anybody would be booked at a venue, so you could like technically like show up there with minimal gear, play for an hour, get free food, and leave, and now your gas is paid for to your,
that's good
evening
living.
show.
Yep.
You know, so there are some people that have tried to justify it and stuff, but that actually had sparked another post, which is not as popular in, at least as of the time I'm recording this. I'd seen somebody post like, it seems like the Des Moines music scene, for some reason, whatever reason it may or may not be, is like smaller than other scenes.
Yeah, like per capita, I don't think they have a whole lot of venues. Well, at least I'm not familiar enough with them. But like, I don't see a whole lot of places like, you know, live music in Des Moines, you know, all weekend long and stuff like that. They've got a lot of cool things like that. What's it called? Something on the River, and it's like a Thursday night thing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I got to start looking into those. But yeah, as far as like bars, I think Fort Dodge is really killing it. Just there's a place to see a show every week or every day of the week except Monday.
Yeah, I mean, there's a new place, the Stadium here in town's going to start doing music again. I believe Lee Klett's going to be there this weekend.
I think so.
There.
Yeah, and that's the owner of the Fireside. Hey Neil, And good people. They've had me play at the Fireside, so I'm sure they'll welcome me into the stadium, but it's just one more spot to earn a paycheck that feels good.
Yeah, and I think, like, what was it, last Friday when I was playing at Fort Dodge, like, there was 4 other shows going on, I think, in town. And they were, like, you know...
Yeah, I showed up to yours.
Big shows. You know, you were playing... I believe Salty View was in town. Like, maybe Corey Waller was in town playing somewhere.
Yep, Frontier Days. Yeah, he was out at the fort.
A little bit of everything going on in this town. It's so wild to think that, like, this town can support all that and do it, you know,
and keep the venues happy. Like, I know that they have to sell a lot of beer when my full band shows up, and it's unfortunate, but that's how it works. And they don't balk at it. You know, they'll hire a 2-piece, you know, if they have to, knowing full well that it's hard to sell that much beer, but...
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing that's really out there crushing it nowadays is the solo acts and the 2-piece acts, because I get it, like, the economy's bad or whatever, everything's kind of expensive, and everyone wants more money and nobody wants to work or whatever. There's all these excuses and things that people are pointing at. Gas is expensive and derpity derp. I get it. But, like, when it all comes down to it, like, entertainment prices have not gone up. Like,
no.
I get it. Yes, people have started charging a little bit more, and it's not, you know, people aren't charging now what they were charging in the 80s. I understand that, but at the same time, you also have to think to yourself, you know, there should be more availability. If everything's more expensive, shouldn't places be making more money, and wouldn't they be justified to pay more people out?
Yep.
But also, like, you have to bring people in this economy where now, like, recently, almost every place I've been, like, the bars have increased their drink prices, you know?
Yep.
And it's like, oh, shoot, you know? So now people are kind of maybe going to drink less or whatever. Maybe, I don't know how it works.
It's a hard call, like, with cover charges. Like, I'm all for them. If you can spend $5 on a beer, you can spend $5 to walk in and watch someone, you know, play their heart out for 2 hours or whatever. But at the same time, up here in central Iowa, a lot of people see a cover charge, they turn around and go to the next town bar, you know, and it's like, that would have helped out the venue guy so much, because it's not like, you know, 500 people are going to come walking in, so I have, like, a killer night or anything, but it is going to offset the cost of me being there for the venue. And
that's true. I mean, there's so many things to consider that a lot of people, I feel like, just don't want to consider or they don't think about, but at the same time, like, I mean, even John Waugh brought it up on the podcast I did with him, guitarist for Three Finger Betty. He was just like, you know, the bar's got to make money.
Yep.
You know, that's what it comes down to, you know, and sometimes it doesn't make sense for certain people to play certain places. Some venues are tailored more towards some things. Like,
for real.
I get it, you can have full bands here. I've played in a full band at Amigos, but I don't think it's the place Three Finger Betty would fit in.
No, it's just because of the crowd. It's a different type of music for the crowd, and they're used to what they're used to down here, so you can read it.
And that might be the one thing that this area is lacking, though. There's not many places for original bands to play.
No, there's not.
Like Rides might be one of them, if I'm thinking correctly.
Yeah, they open up that big back room, and you know, it'll be a three band bill sharing the stage up there, but it's nice that they do it.
There's that one. I've played up at the Eagles before it was the boardroom. So I bet they might be willing to do it again or whatever, but, like, you know, there's not many places for original bands that want to play those types of sets up here, you know. And then on top of that, the other thing that's kind of crazy about it is, like, Three Finger Betty and bands like that have booked shows out of town before, in towns like this that will pay musicians to come and play. And the crazy thing is a lot of times I will go in there and I'll split the difference between what a normal band would get and, like, what we're gonna get, you know, because it's like, yeah, I mean, we could come in here and be like, Three Finger Betty wants to play for 3 hours and we're asking $800. Like, I get it, but it's also like, you know, you have to understand this isn't everyone's type of music. It might not have, like, the retaining value as if somebody was playing Hootie and the Blowfish all night long. Or whatever the heck, you know, people want to hear, because everyone just screams for that stuff, you know.
Yep.
But
sing me what I know. What is this?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I also understand, like, the market and, like, things like that. But it's also pretty wild that, like, bands like that can leave the town that they're in and come to a different town and actually get paid, like, a justifiable wage, you know,
bet.
Like. What was the one? Like,
and then when your fan base is down in Des Moines, you're still, like, playing for the door and selling your own tickets. It's like, oh man, we're getting real money up here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's weird because, like, up here we almost never sell merch.
Yep.
You know, because we've played up north here, but, like, when we play in Des Moines, we just sell piles of merch, and it's wild. But, like, is that because they're not charging at the door? So people have disposable money, they'll just buy a shirt.
Yeah.
Or like, do people like us and they're buying shirts? Believe it or not, we're selling a lot of shirts. It's kind of wild.
Right on.
But at the same time, like, you come up here, it's like we don't sell any shirts, but we all actually got paid money, you know. But then you have to like hope that you brought enough people in, and you're not gonna like alienate yourself from this venue ever, you know.
Yeah, that's.
But we've played at a couple different bars in Humboldt, both times getting paid, and like what we did in situations like that was it's like we want to get paid this much per hour, and we also want to have an opener come in for an hour and play. And so it's an hour of them, 2 hours of us with a switch over. That's 3 hours of pay.
Yep.
We'll eat the switch over time, but you know we'll pretty much have music for like 3.5 hours.
Yep.
And it's wild because like the bands we've brought along with, like you hand them a wad of cash and tell them thank you, and they're just like, what? Like
I've been doing this for love. It's like, oh, it's hard to eat.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand not every venue is stiffing everybody, you know, and not every venue can afford to pay everybody, you know, but I've been in bars that were just jammed full, and then at the end of the night, it's like, what's the payout? It's like $70. It's like, okay, like I feel like it should be more, but at the same time, I'm not the one that's in charge of the accounting books, so I don't know what they're actually making.
And there's so many, like, you know, possibilities. Like the doorman could have been like, everybody go in there, I'm going to go smoke, I'll be back in 10 minutes, you know, so like you missed 40 people. And
I've seen the door guys show up 40 minutes late to a show, and
the place is already packed.
The place is already full. I've seen that happen, and then they're just like, well, sorry, and it's like, thanks, you know, I've seen that happen.
Take it out of the doorman's pay, because we were here working.
I've seen a lot of goofy stuff. Like that, but it is just what it is, you know. And the other thing we also like don't consider up here is we're kind of lucky. We don't have to pay like the outrageous property taxes that probably come along with living in Des Moines.
True.
Like,
yep.
I don't know what they are. You could go look them up. It's all public information. But it's still like, it's just things. It's like, I don't know if I would want to worry about, you know, coming up with that chunk of change at the end of the month or whatever, you know, or whatever they pay it every 6 months. And
the only downside of playing up here, it is cheap living, and there is quite a few opportunities. But if you ever want to break out of town, it's like a geographical oddity. 2 hours from frickin' everywhere, you know? It's just like, oh, I'm going to go play in Mankato. All right, get ready for a 3-hour drive, and then set up, and then, you know.
Yep.
And then, I'm going down to St. Louis. Well, get ready for a long frickin' day.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's not like it's any shorter from Des Moines either, though. But
True.
like, the cool thing about up here is you can, you know, play a few shows here and make just enough money to like gather up what you're gonna spend in gas getting to St. Louis.
That's
and back,
exactly,
you know?
yeah, that's exactly the rhythm right now.
Speaking of which, you were down in Southeast Iowa not too long ago, weren't you?
Where was I? Yeah, I just played. It was a benefit for Ukraine. It was Ukraine from Iowa with love. This sweet old timer down there, Mr. Donaldson. He set it all up. He said it's all because he was sitting at home watching the television, and his wife was getting so mad at him getting mad at the television. She's like, just do something about it. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I'm a musician. So he called up a bunch of musician friends, and then Brian Job from Keokuk, the radio down there, he put out a post and said, you know, who's willing to spare some time. So drove 4 hours, played about 35 minutes, and drove 4 hours back, all for a good cause.
It's awesome. That's really cool. You know, shout out to Brian Joe.
Buddy.
Brian's Man Cave.
Yeah, I'll be on the radio with him tomorrow morning. I got a call. No, Friday morning. I got to call the station because I'll be playing in Iowa City, but I can't get to Keokuk at 11 a.m. That's just impossible.
Just too much. Yeah.
Playing the night before, I'll be playing at Clarion tomorrow. So. Yeah.
All right, so tomorrow being Thursday, so if you're listening to this day, it came out, Clint's playing Clarion tonight. So,
head on over.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I really like about this area is like you said, even though like you might be booked up in like, you know, I've done enough bookings at Fort Dodge. It's like, well, you can always, you know, come up to Humboldt and play a show, go to Clarion and play a show, you know. Iowa Falls is a little ways away, but you can go over there and play a show, you know, and there's just all these towns around, you know, you can hit up Emmetsburg or whatever, you know, there's all these places, and they are a drive,
Yep.
but it's still worth it.
Oh, definitely. And if the gas prices go down a little bit, my Ford Focus does fine, hauls all my gear, gets me there at, you know, 36 miles per gallon, so it's not a struggle to get to these places. It's just the time management, and I'm getting older, so like the car camping, I've been spoiling myself the past 2 years staying in motels when I'm, you know, more than a night drive.
Yeah, and I will have to say, like, I'm used to spending a lot of money on gas. I'm used to driving a lot and putting a lot of windshield time in, but I'm kind of getting tired of filling up my car, I'll say that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, when you're already spending a lot of money and then that doubles, like in the course of a year.
And that goes back to I haven't raised my price for, you know, an hour has been $100 for I don't know how long now, since the beginning. Well, I used to be like $50 an hour when I started out, make $100 in 2 hours and call it a win. And then I realized, that's fine, but and Chris Carr brought it up to me. He's like, you really should just expect more. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, it's not even about you. It's about the rest of us. He's like, if you're doing that for $50, what are they going to say when I ask for 200? And I was like, I get it.
It's the lowering of the bar.
Yep.
Somebody brought that up in that Facebook post. Was you shouldn't lower the bar for your fellow musicians. You're hurting
Yep.
the market. So like, the first place I ever really saw that happen, which was pretty wild, was in professional wrestling. So like in independent wrestling, there's dudes that'll charge. I don't know what the going rates are now, but there's dudes that'll work for free, and there's dudes that it says I'll come to your town, but you have to at least pay me $100.
And there are a couple of those venues where they're like, here, it's exposure. There ain't a whole lot of pay. And it's like, man, Facebook's exposure, but thank you very much. Unless it's, a real sweet spot, a real good opportunity, I won't turn it down. I won't lie about that. But, yeah, it's almost an insult to the rest of us musicians.
Yeah, so that was the big argument, was like some of these places that might not be able to draw a lot of people. Let's just say there's $10 a ticket and there's 50 people. That's $500. You can't pay every wrestler $100. You'd only have 5 people wrestling.
Exactly.
So, and then nobody else will get paid. Who's going to pay the sound guy? Who's going to pay whoever?
Yeah, somebody had to set the ring up.
Exactly. So you end up running into this situation where it's like not everyone can get paid, but then again, maybe they could, but it's just the way it works. But there was a big argument going for a while that like the whole gist with this is if you're a new person, you kind of want to get exposure by just going places and understanding the business. So they would just pile in a car with some veterans, go to a place, not wrestle. They might sit in the crowd, they might sit in the back. They just kind of like sit around and watch and kind of see how they're supposed to act and just learn from everybody. So they're doing that, but then there might be instances where they bring some new guys with and they're like, we're short somebody. Do you have your trunks with you? And they say, yeah. And it's like, you'll have to work for free, but I've got a spot for you or whatever. And these people will work for a hot dog and a handshake, which is my joke about that, but which is a thing, And some wrestlers are going to be like, "Who gets hot dogs? I want a hot dog." If there's any pro wrestlers listening to this, haha. But I get it though. It's just kind of the way it works. But there's some of those people that are just like, don't lowball the rest of us by going in there and just offering to work for free, though.
No doubt.
You know, like if it's a situation where that's a thing, you can, I guess, if you want to, but like don't just call people up and be like, I'll work for free.
Yeah, just chopping legs out from under.
Under everybody, And I don't know. That's just one of those weird things where you kind of also get what you pay for, though, too. Like, I know if somebody's going to pay me more money, I'm going to show up.
I'm gonna respect the pay level too. I mean, I'm not gonna play down, but if it's a lesser wage, but at the same time, like if someone's expecting that much out of me and they have this much faith in me, oh my God, and they reflect it in dollar signs, yeah, I'm gonna throw them a hard show.
Yeah, like we've been places where it's like no breaks,
Yep, exactly.
Sorry, no breaks. It's just it sucks. My fingers hurt. I want to take a break, but no breaks tonight because they're paying well and people are tipping, and people are listening. So it's that's the kind of place where it's like, yes, I understand, but. Like you said, if somebody's paying you less, it's kind of like, I'll tell a couple jokes over the mic and we'll talk in between songs or something, I'm not going to be as super business about it as I, normally could be. Or like, it's just like, we're bringing the full Monty here. We're bringing the high-end gear. We're bringing all of the active speakers.
Setup takes 20 minutes longer than it should.
We're bringing everything, It might take 2 full carloads to get everything here or whatever, So, I mean, it's not like like you said, we're not playing down or like downgrading anything really if we played a less, but it's no different than anybody offering like a package for a certain deal, like everyone does that. Every type of band does that. I mean, the Pork Tornadoes do that, and they're pretty much one of the premier bands, running around Iowa right now. So. Just
killing it right now.
That's another thing I kind of wanted to bring up. So like somebody brought up in this group, like how do you get, maybe not just they were referencing the Des Moines scene, but how do you get people to support one another if that's something that you view as like an issue? And so that's like maybe like the open-ended question is like, is that what's missing in certain scenes? Is that what, could we even use more of that up here? Because for a long time, the guys in the Pork Tornadoes, especially Mike, would try their best to like go into groups and share this information that he had with people. And then people would kind of crap on him, being like, feels like you're talking down to us or whatever. And he's like, I'm just telling you, if you want this is what we had to do to get there, and this is what a lot of people had to do to get there, so it might help you if you do this, or whatever.
Yep.
You don't have to.
No, it's just this is what worked for us.
Yeah. But he's always been out there supporting people, so much so to the fact that the Pork Tornadoes can go places and, I don't want to say demand, but they can pretty much set their price.
Oh,
and part of that price is, we're going to pay the opener.
Yeah, and they'll choose their opener.
And they choose their opener. It's usually semi-local to the area, so they're pulling in people from every part of the state to open up for them.
Yeah.
It's that's the kind of support that we need from the bands to other bands. I would definitely have to say. So.
And there is quite a bit of it up here. I don't know how many times, even just this last week, Jesse sent me a message saying, "Hey, I'm booked this weekend. Thought of you first. Reach out to so and so." So you do that, and it didn't work out. And then there's other examples of just I saw Lee Klett had posted like, "Hey, I can't make this, and if somebody could reach out, and 3 people tagged me in it. They're all just looking out for each other. It's pretty nice."
Yeah, I mean, Lee's getting really good at that too. Like Lee's to the point now where he's getting a lot of bookings, yes, but like it was something to the effect of I don't think he was double booked, but I think they had asked him to play that show or whatever, and he couldn't do it. He just opened it up to anyone because it was kind of a short notice type deal, and he was like, "Hey, somebody I know will want to take this."
Yeah, exactly. If somebody's not working, they will.
Yep. Which is kind of, I don't think there's any gatekeeping going on up here at all. I mean, like, obviously certain bands fit into certain venues a little bit better, but like...
Yeah, like, I'll tell Jesse and you guys to go haul ass in this honky-tonk that, I lied my way into and then kind of fumbled through, but really they just wanted, your style of music the whole night, and I just made my way through it. And I think Jesse does the same for me, honestly. He's really good at passing on information, like, "You would kill it here." Mm-hmm. It's like, thanks, man.
Yeah, if there's somewhere I have fun playing, I usually tell someone, like, "You guys played here before? Because this place is pretty fun."
And we're all musicians, so that's, like, we don't talk about work all day, mind you, but we don't have anything else to do. So, like, it's like, "Hey, man, how was your weekend?" And then you talk about the venue or, who threw up. And, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's really fun going to places. I mean, it's not like some venues, it's not that places suck, and it's not that I don't have fun some places, but definitely some places, whether it's the clientele or the way the place is run or, like, the management there or whatever, it's just like, this place hauls ass, and I love it here. I just love it here, and I just have so much fun at certain places where I just got to make sure other people, like, you got to try this place, and, like, not just throwing it, I don't want to just throw it out there and call it out there, but bootleggers, High Nate.
No doubt, man. That's the premier spot in Fort Dodge for, like, Friday night late music.
Yes.
He always wants you to play till 1, and sometimes, you're drained, but the crowd flips, and then all of a sudden it gets bigger and wilder, and you're like, okay, I got an extra hour in me. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a wild crowd base there because you end up with, like, an early crowd and a late crowd if you play a 4-hour show. Like, it starts out with, like, older people, and then it ends up with, like, younger people coming out of nowhere.
Oh, and by the way, Nate, you're the only one I play a 4-hour show for. Like, I've come to realize I don't want to hear any band for 4 hours, let alone myself.
Yeah, I don't know. The 4-hour show thing's fun. I think they should still be getting booked, but the opening hour should go towards new musicians.
Definitely, yes. Like, if I had an opener for a 4-hour show, that would be heaven. But it's,
oh my God.
I'm always showing up by myself, or hopefully you or Brad come along, and that's about it.
Dude, if I could sing well enough or, like, pull off an hour set, like, I could sing a few songs well enough because I've done it enough, but, like, if I could sing well enough to pull off an hour, I would absolutely love to open up for some people somewhere sometime, but there's so many people out here just crushing it. They're, like, not to say, like, everyone's super good at singing, but there's a lot of people out here that are doing this singer-songwriter solo acoustic act and just nailing it.
Oh, yeah, like Jefferson Fossbender, he's coming on the scene.
Yeah.
And, like DJ, he's still plugging away at it down in Iowa Falls. He's got a little different, like, area that he works out just because, that's an hour to him to go over there, and it's 2.5 hours for us to go over there. So he doesn't get into Fort Dodge much, but he's still killing it. And, oh, God.
Yeah,
Jordan makes his appearance every now and then, but he's doing good things with stones and jewelry and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's the typicals, the you and Jeremy Ober and Chris Carr and Jesse Wilson. Because, I mean, as many shows as I've played with Jesse this year, I bet he's played just as many solo.
Sure.
Like, probably more.
Trying to eat.
Yeah, dude. Gotta eat. Man's gotta eat. Randy, what are you doing with all those cheeseburgers? Man's gotta eat. What are you doing with the smoky hat on, Randy? All right, we're done with the Trailer Park Boys references.
And there's more venues opening up. Creekside. I got to use one of their cabins to try and start recording a second album or third album. I don't even know. But, yeah, and they were kind enough, like, you're a dirty folk musician, these are expensive cabins. I'm like, yep, let's swap some shows. And it worked out great. I've played a couple of their bike nights, and they're starting to come alive over there. Heck, it's going on right now.
Yeah, I played one of those with you here not too long ago,
I
a
thought
couple
we
weeks
did
back or
great
whatever.
out there.
It sounded really good.
Inside of one of those grain bin bars, if you've seen those built around, they're starting to become in fad. But surprisingly enough, sounded like an angel.
Yeah, what do they call them? Like a grain bin zebo.
Checks out.
Just grain bin gazebo or whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't get the gist, it's like cut the top off a grain bin and then cut what's left in half, and then put sticks in the grain bin and then put the top back on the sticks, so you have this like open area like a gazebo.
Yeah, like the DNR should be all over that. Those should be the new shelter houses around, like no maintenance. You've got tin and some treated lumber. Just hope no homeless person pooped in it like that time we shot my music video.
Oh yeah, just
That was the bus station,
a
though.
little wild. That's the way a shoe goes, though. This,
Looked over at I was sitting in the perfect spot for this take of me playing a guitar and looking all pensive, and I was like, man, it stinks. And I look over, and here's this. The dude thought to bring the toilet paper. I'll give him that. But yeah.
very classic.
Yep.
Yeah, the little big town here in Fort Dodge. Gotta love it. It's kind of weird though. Like when I was growing up, I'd like come here, and it's like Fort Dodge. This is where all the places to eat are. This is where the mall was at. This is where Target and Walmart are at, and all that stuff. My only other option where I lived was to go to the opposite direction, like 10 minutes longer, to go to Algona. Pretty much, and that was like they had a Kmart. They didn't have a whole lot. They had some stuff, but they didn't have a whole lot.
I'm old enough. Belmont had like a thriving downtown. There was like a jewelry store, a family-owned jewelry, family-owned clothing, shoe store, a country western store, stuff like that. But mid-'90s, everything just died. Thanks, Walmart.
Yep. But yeah, I remember. I mean, that was the thing, was just coming down here to Fort Dodge. But now that I play here a lot more, and I find myself coming down here and going to shows to watch my friends and stuff. And I don't know. I don't drink, so I don't really have much reason to go to a bar, and it's kind of weird. But at the same time, I also think to myself, I can go there and hang out with people. I don't have to drink or whatever, but.
I do.
Well, I'm like finding myself now going to places, and I mean it's usually places where I know a lot of people. Like I've played to Bootleggers enough where I'm friendly enough with like the clientele there, and I know some of the people there personally and stuff like that.
And the bartenders treat you right.
Yeah, everyone's really nice there. So like I'll go there and watch anybody play, but I also like I know Nate who owns it, so it's like Nate books a lot of.
Oh, he's so damn supportive. Just another tip of the hat to Nate. He comes out to the jam on Tuesday that I run, and I swear half the time he's just scouting. Like, I got a buddy I just saw. I was playing in Clear Lake, and I got done with my show, caught some other guy's show. Turns out he's a super cool fucking dude, heck of a dude. And he's like, well, I'm going to have to come down to this jam you're running, man. This would be fun. And I'm like, yeah. And then there's this guy, Nate. He'll probably be there and try to hire you. He's like, oh, sounds horrible.
Yeah.
That's just Nate. He's like, well, if you got faith in him, I'll come check it out. I don't know how many times he's picked me up and taken me over to Byron's just to like see a new act, and
Yep.
He's a good dude that way.
Yeah, and I mean,
he's invested.
I mean, it's not like a super guarantee he's just gonna like rando book everyone. But
not everybody's good enough by any means.
But I've seen him like I was in Iowa City with him once playing, and he just came to watch us, and he booked somebody like out of Iowa City to come up here and play. It's like, it's a thing.
Man, what was that guy's name?
Michael Husky.
Michael Husky, yeah.
Yep. He's coming back. He's gonna play a show here.
He's
sometime.
another one of those dudes just out there living the life.
I think it's this month. I'll have to check. I think he's playing Bootleggers. You just have to check out that Bootleggers page if you guys are looking for, watering hole to watch some music at.
Definitely. And if you run into Dirty Rob, punch him in the nose. Tell him it's from me.
Oh, jeepers. That statement was not endorsed by Audible Farm Podcast. But yeah, I mean, like, there's so many cool places. The more I play, the more places I go to. I'm just like, these are kind of cool places to go hang out or whatever, And I miss the bar scene, Like
yeah.
I maybe don't miss all of it, but I do miss like the social aspect of going to a bar. It's fun, and I especially like. For people like me that don't drink, it's nice when a bar at least has something else to do, whether it's like music or food or something, something else.
Something that you'll gravitate besides just like not remembering.
Yeah, but keep me interested, because if it's just a place that like only has alcohol, it's like, well, if there's no music, I'm definitely not coming here. But it's also like the business isn't made for me, but that music is what keeps me coming back, And I'm trying to think of who did I come watch at Bootleggers not too long ago.
Matt Woods.
He's coming this weekend.
Oh, sweet.
I'm trying to move around some band rehearsals and things, so I can actually.
Yeah, no doubt. I love that show.
Yeah, he's so good.
I'll be in Iowa City, unfortunately, Matt. Otherwise, I love catching your show.
Yeah, he's gonna be there with his full band. I believe.
Of course.
I don't know. I got my Matt Woods shirt on. There you go. I usually have something Matt Woods on. No, I'm just kidding. But that's another thing. Is like I love to try my best to support people and like.
I swear that's all you own is like other people's merch and then an Audible Farm sweatshirt.
Yeah. I wear the Audible Farm hoodie everywhere. It's like a safety blanket, but.
Oh, it's a wonderful hoodie too. I don't know what brand it is, but it's perfect.
Yeah,
like the fluffy ones with the zipper.
Yeah, they're nice. They're warm but not too hot. Like that's. The problem I have with like some hoodies is it's just like this thing is like thick. Like this is like it's cold out and I'm wearing this to stay warm instead of a coat.
Yeah, I think I'm riding my motorcycle and I think I got it under my jacket. I'm not sure. It's black, so it's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, going back to like supporting musicians and things like that, like what are some things within the scene that you think need to change? Maybe not in Fort Dodge, or maybe Fort Dodge could also do it better, but like there's a lot of support people have for one another. Because I mean, you'll go to see Emily Johnson play and there's 5 other musicians there,
You
or
betcha.
whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, we all pack around each other. I think the only thing that would improve the music scene in Fort Dodge is probably just like new blood, but that seems to be coming along all the time with like formation of new bands. It might, still the same 10 people are rotating around into 10 different bands, but it's awesome to see that connection. How like Corey Waller and the Wicked Things, like love Caleb, that's my drummer. He's drumming for Corey. And, like I remember when Caleb and I first started playing, like we were referencing right here in Amigos, and he looked at me and he said, like 16-year-old Caleb would have just beat my own ass right now for playing this. I'm like, what do you mean, man? He's like, Bob Dylan, 16-year-old me wouldn't understand that, and I would have just fist fought myself. I was like, yeah, I get it. But the evolution of everything is just really neat to watch. Just if we could get a few more Jordan Reuters and Jeremy Obers around here, that'd be great.
Yeah,
because there is so many venues. Like you can never not see live music, so you might as well see a whole lot of new live music.
Yeah, it's a thing that's happening though, because like even though there might not be new blood like in the town or from like just the immediate surrounding area, like me being 20 minutes away, there is still that aspect of
Yeah, like he's getting Matt to come in.
Yeah, Matt Woods and your Lee Kletz.
And I've seen my buddy J. Jeffrey Meserol come down here. He's in Boone now, so it's not too far. Hey, he's gonna have a baby. Nice. Congratulations.
Yep. So you end up with like a bunch of that kind of aspect happening too, where it's there's new blood here, but it's always fun when new people come around. You having been running a jam for what 6+ years now.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that with your jam. It kind of reflects what's going on in the music scene, maybe to an aspect, maybe not 100%, but it's just like these people frequented for like 2 years and then they quit coming, and then new people came in and those people were always here.
Yep.
And, I've been going for 3 years now or whatever, about half the jam maybe.
And how many like strangers do you think you've seen? Like people you weren't already aware of, like the Jeremys and Chris's and stuff. Like
a lot.
I was gonna say there's probably been a good 24 random people that have at least picked up an instrument once in there that I've just seen and been surprised by.
Yeah, one that was kind of fun was like, so Nisha was one that I thought of. So like. Yep. Unsuspecting, like she's like, I play, I'm okay or whatever, she's very unassuming, and then she goes up there and crushes it and she's like, it wasn't that good, and it's like, shut up. I'm like mad that you don't think that's good or whatever. But
and I'll be honest, like girls are just born able to sing. I've said it a million times, you guys have beautiful voices, just use them. But like for a girl to really excel at singing, like it takes some work and practice, and just like with playing a guitar. But yeah, Nisha's got a badass voice. She can really sing, but to be that humble, it's like, oh, come on, man. Get up there and kill them.
Yeah, sing more, please. Yep. But I mean, that's one where it's just like, I wouldn't mind seeing her opening up for somebody, like giving her half an hour in front of you or something.
Yeah, definitely. I've offered 100 times, and she says she's not ready yet, but I'm here to tell you, you're ready, Nisha.
Yeah, so I mean, there are new people coming in and out, and like you said, that was like one of the first ones at Bootleggers. I was thinking, I was like, oh, I've never seen this person before, and that was like the first place I ever saw Emily Johnson play. I remember like that one. I was just like, what? Like, okay, this is good.
Yeah, that chick wails.
Yep. She sings very well.
And her song selection, I really like the covers that she does. I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that song, but you're nailing it.
Yeah, maybe it would fit in pretty well because, like I said, there's a lot of singer-songwriters in the area, but everybody kind of has like a slightly different song choice. I mean, I don't know if that's by design, but there's like a billion songs, so like you can choose whatever you want.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
just shows the personality of the artist up there trying to get their soul across. Like, when he's playing a lot of John Hartford and John Prine, he must smoke some rope, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I was talking to like Vinny, how I was thinking, I was like, I kind of want to start my own band, maybe, Vince Benishek, and I was thinking about like what would I play, and he's like, well, just send me like 5 or 6 songs or whatever. So I sent him a list, and a lot of them are songs that most people wouldn't know, and he's like, I like to play what I like to play, like there is that aspect of you kind of should play what other people want to hear, but like.
Yeah, because I've tried out as a rhythm guitarist for another band, remain unnamed. And I was just like, at the end of the day, I went to a few practices and I was like, I can do it, but do I want to do it?
Yeah.
Not so much, and then just politely, just back off from it and retreat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to say I've sold my soul, but like you said, about Caleb, like 16-year-old him would be pissed. Same deal, like 16-year-old me would just be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, like you don't know any of these songs. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah.
But, it's fun to play. Even, new is fun. I'll agree with that.
New is fun. Yeah, and that's pretty much what it comes down to is I'm just having fun playing guitar, getting paid is an absolute bonus on top of it because I went so many years playing guitar at shows and basically not getting paid,
That floors me. Like, I got into this business really late. I was, in my 30s and stuff, already had a couple lives under my belt. And to hear, like, you and Caleb and even Jeremy talk about, like, the old days to where it's like you'd have 5 bands on the bill, and at the end of the night, like, you owe them $20 because you had, like, 4 sodas at this place, you know? And
yeah, it's totally a thing. And it's not like it totally was a thing. It is a scene. It's a thing. Like, there's a whole scene based off of that, which I think needs to absolutely change. But it comes right back down to what we were arguing earlier, where it's like, if there's people that are out there that are willing to do it for free.
Yep, you can't fault them for doing it. And I was right along there for a while. Nobody knows your name for the first year unless you're, like Emily Johnson or something coming out swinging.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just hoping and praying for at least 2 shows a week to stay alive. And, if it was a $50 show, it was one of 2, so I'd take it.
Yeah, and I almost don't want to say it because it sounds kind of dickish, but like I was listening to a comedy podcast and the long story short was somebody was trying to say to somebody else, like, you're not funny. And basically the person says, you don't get to decide that. They get to decide that.
Yep.
And so that's what it comes down to is the crowd gets to decide everything.
Yep.
Whether or not, I get there's some people that are like, I want to have some artistic integrity. Go for it. But if you want to appeal to the masses, you've got to do something that the masses will take to.
Yeah, definitely. You can't be mad. Like, I've opened up for metal artists. Like, I was an in-betweener. I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but, like, the bass player started tuning up while I was still in the middle of my set and stuff like that and, didn't have his volume down by any means. And I was just... So, yeah, not all rooms are for you, but at the same time, I was connecting with a few people in the crowd, just having a great time. And so it's not up to the band after me to be like, well, he's done, and then start tuning up. It's like, no, man, let these cats decide.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the other end is you can't also go in there and be like, 3 people came to see my band, and we should be the fucking, second headliner because we've been doing this longer. It's like, well, the people, it's unfortunate, but the people do vote, so... Or, like, if you're a band that never brings anyone or can't bring anyone or, I get it, like, oh, yeah, big deal. These people are all from this town and they bring all their buddies and all they do is just get wasted at the bar. It's like, well, guess what? The fans vote and these people brought more fans and they love hanging out with these dudes and the business is happy. So, like, they should probably headline.
Yep.
Like, it's just the way it works. I get it. Like, you might think, like, we've been playing longer. It's like, well, I get it.
Yep.
But, like...
It all comes down to dollar signs, unfortunately.
It honestly does.
Well, not for us, per se, but, for the venue, they're going to be like, no, because you're going to play and everyone's going to leave, after you're done, and these are 5 more bands to go.
And I mean, there's venues that don't enforce that, and there's bands that'll do that shit, too, where it's like...
Just pull up and take all their fans with them when they're done.
Yeah, it's like 3 bands on a bill, and they're just like, we're playing first. And it's like, why are you guys playing first? You have the most people here. And they're just like, we want to go back and party at my place. And it's like,
oh, bummer.
Just going to screw us over, and the venue doesn't say anything about it, which is, it's a thing. And
How about you party in the alley and then go play your set later?
Once again, it's not I'm not running the venues, and I'm not promoting shows and booking shows. So
Nope.
I just kind of like observe and report at this point. But it's also, I think there definitely needs to be something that's done differently about like the what I would call like the independent original artist, local music, whatever. You know, we were talking 3, 4, 5 bands on a show type shows. You know, like something needs to change with that. But I mean, 15 years ago when I was out of high school and I was going to shows down in Des Moines, it was one of those things where you go to shows, it's $5 at the door, which was, you know, minimum wage, an hour of work.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know? And nowadays minimum wage is up and everybody, I mean, there's almost no jobs that pay minimum wage now. Like, it's so low.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't survive. You never could survive on minimum wage.
No, and now it'd be impossible. So, like...
The masses have said so. Yeah.
So it's to this point where, like, should it be $10 to get into a show now? Yeah. But, like, now there's less places to play in Des Moines and nobody charges at the door. And it's... So there's, like, occasionally, like, 2 places that will.
Is Valair? Did I hear a rumor that Valair's getting bought again? Like it's going to reopen?
Yeah, somebody else rebought it, and they're gonna. I think the guy. I think I don't know if it's a guy. I think whoever, whether it's a company or person, owns Woolies bought it. If I'm not mistaken. So I think it'll be well taken care of.
Yeah, and they know how to run a music venue because Woolies,
obviously,
it
works.
They're pulling in some real names.
It works.
They let some local guys open too, which is
Yep.
phenomenal. I still have to get my foot in that door sometime. Like
That'd be crazy.
I've seen Hayes Carl play there. Hayes Carl, I would love to open for you if you're listening.
Oh man, that'd be so nuts. That'd be so nuts. But yeah, I mean, I think you've been to places in Des Moines, so like you know what Woolies looks like. You've probably been to Valair before.
Yep.
Maybe not to play, but you've seen these places.
Yep.
Lefties, I think you've played there before. You've
Yep.
also been to Boggs.
Yeah, that was fun. Chris
yep.
Anderson, another dude who's getting back into it.
Yep. So we're talking small venues, big venues, whatever. But let's agree that like Lefties is like a step up from Boggs in the fact that it has like lights and a sound guy,
Yep.
a more raised stage, etc. It's more dedicated to be a music venue.
Yep.
So there's like your Boggs areas, which are like bars that have music, you know, and then Lefties, which is like a music venue that's a bar.
Yeah.
You know, but Lefties is still only so big, you know, and Vaudeville existed for a while, you know, Vaudeville Muse. Have you ever been to that one? Were you ever there?
Oh, God, who did I see there? I think I saw like Dropkick and some other like just scream and punk band. They might have been local. I don't remember. I was drinking pretty heavy at the time, but that was a hell of a show there.
Yes. So Vaudeville is like Lefties, but a little bit bigger. Maybe not as high end though, because the lighting system was a little more basic.
But you don't have to schlep your own gear. That feels good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Not bringing sound gear. That's definitely awesome. So like, I mean, you think about like the sizes of these venues, and let's just say like Lefties and Vaudeville are like, Vaudeville's obviously was a little bit bigger, but like there's no Vaudeville anymore, so just delete it, whoever.
Yep.
Lefties is, you know, Gaslamp is another place. It was called Blues on Grand, I believe. I think was what it was called before. But that place and Lefties are similar-ish in size and you know, lights and sound and everything. So like, there's the next size venue up from that in Des Moines now is like Woolies.
And then if you get beyond that, you have to play at like Vets or something.
Yeah, so
you know?
you're talking, you got to. There's like Fremont and Boggs or whatever. Those places can hold like 100 people maybe, and like Lefties is maybe like 150, 200 or whatever. You know, it's like 150 or 200 maybe or something like that. I'm just throwing out random numbers. I'll check the you know, the fire marshal listings later. Excuse me, but like
should be on the door, I tell you.
They're actually posted. I just forget what they all say. And every venue I've actually seen them because I think they're supposed to be visible. But yeah,
I don't play those high end joints. They're just like, if you can fit, you're here.
But so like, there's a big difference between like a place that'll have like maybe 200 and a place that's like 500 plus. You know, It's like there's a big difference between that. You know, there needs to be a place in between. You know, imagine if like stand-up comedians had no theaters. It was like you're either doing stand-up comedy in like a comedy club that seats like 200, or you're in like a Chinese restaurant.
Exactly.
And nobody's paying attention. And then the next step up is just like stadiums. Like those are your only options. You know, so like
sounds like Des Moines.
You know, that's kind of how it feels being down there. There's just not enough places to do that. You know, and
it's a shame because like what is it, Court down there with everything on it. You know. They've got the space for it. I just don't, you know, they're dedicated to selling beer. They don't care what's playing overhead while they do it.
There are a few places popping up that are down in Court and other places like that are starting to do things like that, though, that are finally starting to bring in. And I'm starting to see like your Tank Anthony's and people like that are starting to come in there and play shows there, which is nice, you know. I mean, I wish I had my phone's obviously being used to record this, but like if I had my phone, I'd just pull up a handful of lists of places. But like, there's places down there that have music, and they're starting to pop up and starting to pay people, and the pictures I'm seeing there, they look like an absolute freaking blast. But man, I mean, once again, those are those places where it's like you kind of got to bring your A game, you know, like.
Yep. And even then, you have to decide, like, is this a one-man show? Like, is this going to be enough sound for this place? Like, everybody, it depends on the mood in the room, what they want to hear. And if I had the Ramblers with me, like, we can own any joint because we can slow it down and make it as pretty as you want, you know. But when there's 250 people out there and you're, you know, playing on a trailer stage and you're covering, you know, when you're standing there by yourself, it's a little naked sounding, and people are like, I was expecting more, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to turn this into some giant debate. I mean, we were already pretty much at the end of this podcast. But, yeah, I mean, that's just something I saw earlier today and yesterday that kind of sparked my interest, was, like, talking about how the scene seems stagnant and, like, it hasn't changed or something in years, and, like, nothing like, people are basically getting paid almost the same price they were, even though, like, inflation is just going nuts right now. And
yeah, our guitar strings didn't go down in price, and, you know.
Yeah, nothing's gone down in price, you know. So, I mean, it is what it is, but, yeah, let's end this out with something a little bit more upbeat and stuff. So, you got a lot of shows coming up this weekend. Let's run back over some of those shows.
All right, let's see. I got Iowa City on Friday. I'll be in Clarion at Fuel on Thursday. I'll be on the radio in Keokuk Friday morning, and I'm playing that. I think it's the Lotus Ride. It's for like domestic violence. It's like a women's organization, and there's a bike ride going on for it, a motorcycle ride, and it starts in Clare and it ends in Clare. And I donated my time for when it ends. And then after I get done playing there, to all the bikers, I'm going to tell them to come over to Bootleggers if they're not already going to Celebration, because I'll be playing Bootleggers Saturday night after I get done over in Clare.
Oh, nice. Yeah. For everyone that does not want to, I'll tell you what, I've been to a lot of celebrations. I've probably been to about a third of them they've done.
Really?
Which I wouldn't say is like a ton, but I've been to quite a few. But if you don't want to struggle with people and traffic and parking and just, it's not like a huge hassle, but if you just want to pull into a small bar and watch
and we're on the other side of town, you don't even have to worry about that.
It's going to be beautiful. That's the place to go. So yeah, if you guys are looking for something to do and it's not Celebration, which is this weekend, which does have Lone Tree Revival.
Yeah, I would like to see Jeremy play, man. But
I have seen people posting online. I don't know if they're kidding, but they said they bought their tickets to see Lone Tree on a big stage.
Checks out, honestly, because there's like one member of Molly Hatchet still left, and they're just like billing it like they're all still kicking and having a good time. And
yeah, that reminds me of when I saw the LA Guns live, and the guy. That was their lead singer. Like, everyone was, like, younger than me, or maybe, you know, but, like, the guy that was singing was like, when the LA Guns wrote this song and sang it in the 80s, and I was like, what? Like, this British guy.
You're British all of a sudden?
British guy's up there, like, talking about, like, when the LA Guns wrote this song, like, he's not the guy from the LA Guns, you know, because he's not, but it was just like, what are you doing? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
He's like, legally, I have to make this disclaimer as blatant as possible.
Yeah, because we are them by promotional aspect and name only. I cannot say I wrote this song, you know.
And I'm not afraid to say my opinions out loud. My mom didn't raise a liar, and Bret Michaels is headlining. I have no desire whatsoever. It
is what it is. Once again, the people vote.
Yeah.
I've had to tell myself that over and over again. There's so many people that are just like, I cannot freaking wait to go see Bret Michaels. And guess what?
I've heard that too.
Guess
I guess
they're gonna have a blast,
Yeah.
and the Celebration people hired a good one again. You know, because they can't hire, you know, ZZ Top every year. You know, because that's who I want to see. You know, they can't hire Boston every year. That guy's dead. You know, ZZ Top guy's dead, but you know, like, everyone's dying anyways. But still, like, it's one of those things. They're not gonna hire the bands I want to see every single year.
And they got to hit in the middle. It's not like they can afford a brand new artist, like, you know, because I can't imagine what they command. I imagine Bret Michaels is a little bit less, you know.
Yeah, I at one point in time had talked to some of those people about how much some of that costs. It's pretty wild.
I can't imagine.
It's I can't believe they can come up with the money and organize all of it that well. So whoever's doing that, like, hats off to Celebration. It's not an easy feat. It's not an easy feat to run a yearly show at all, whether it's small bands or big bands.
Yeah, they start working on it the day like it's done this year. It's like, okay, let's get ready for next.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my gosh. Well, we got about an hour in here.
Cool.
Well, I don't know if there's anything else you wanna talk about. I feel like maybe there was something else I kind of wanted to bring up, but I can't remember what it was.
Just gonna be playing all over the place all summer.
Yeah, check them out online. Clint Riedel Music, pretty much everywhere online. You got a Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much the easiest place to see what you're doing and where you're going and what's going on. So hit them up on Facebook. There's going to be links down below.
Hey, if you're not busy Saturday night, you want to play at Bootleggers?
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see what's going on.
Right on, man.
All right, so maybe I'll be at Bootleggers Saturday. We'll see what's going on. I got to get my... I feel like I'm not getting any busier. Like, I've complained about being busy for a long time, but I just need to, like, nail my schedule down tighter, you know? Because, like, I've slotted out time for just enough stuff. And I just need to, because everyone's like, what are you doing this day? It's like, I don't know, I'm sorry. Like,
Yep.
I should know these things, so I need to get that all nailed down.
No, we're that important. If I don't have my calendar, I don't know.
The craziest part about that, I'll bring this up with you because you'll like this, but like at my job, I work for a very, very large corporation, let's just say that, that has a lot of people, and every now and then people will send out like inspirational things or whatever, and somebody sends something that said, never to tell people you're busy because it, like exactly like you said, it pretty much tells you I'm more important than you.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's like, but you're not important.
Yeah. You're not important enough to me because what I'm doing is so important. So like, yes, I am busy, but I'm sorry. Like, I'll figure my stuff out and I'll quit complaining about it as much. I'm going to try not to because I don't know, it kind of like hit home. And it's not like they sent it to me because I complain about being busy and stuff, but they sent it to a lot of people. But it's just something kind of nice to think about.
That one just hit you in the chest.
It did. Of all the ones that have been sent to me, that was the one where I was like, oh. Yeah, I see this happening in my life. I just need to be happy that I have things that I can, do with my life.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll end it on that all the time. I'm ecstatic to have this life. I've been retired for 8 years now.
Yeah, no kidding. You were talking about that with some of your buddies, talking with them, how they were just like, you don't do anything. It's like, well, it's not like you don't do anything. You still have to do stuff.
Yeah.
But we can also joke about how you said, like, yeah, I pretty much have like a 2 or 3 day work week.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, someone's like, well, I know it's Friday. You'll probably be busy. It's like, yeah, that's the start of my 2-day work week right there.
Yep. Which is true. I mean, that's the only downfall is like, we don't get to be like, fly by the seat of our pants. I'm just gonna go over here and fart around on Friday night and do whatever. I'm gonna go play video games all night, or we get to do that. But the benefit is we get to do it every other night of the week.
Exactly.
So, kind of to an extent, but yeah.
A lot of golfing and motorcycle riding this summer. That's been nice.
Yep. Oh man. Well, I mean the weather's pretty nice. We picked quite a heck of a day to sit outside and talk about this. So
Watch
absolutely.
a volleyball game if you guys can hear it behind us.
Yeah, I unfortunately had to watch it through the lenses of your glasses.
Oh,
but
nice.
every now and then I'd see the ball and I'm like, it's gonna hit me.
I wouldn't warn you.
Oh, thanks, man.
You
Appreciate it. All right, well, yeah, this is a good one. We'll just there it was. We'll end it here, and thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
You bet, anytime.
Oh man, I really enjoy doing these podcasts, not just in a studio. It's really fun to be able to go places and record them. I can't remember the last one I sat out in public and did. It might have been one I did with Michael Husky, which was that one got a lot of listens. So yeah, the outside ones, maybe they're conducive to more people listening. I'm not sure. Who knows? Go check Clint Riedel out this weekend. He's played all over the place. He's always expanding his circle and going to new places. Because why not? Why not? You try him out. You don't know who's going to like you where. You might as well just try it out if you're into that kind of thing. So he's all over the place. He's always going places. Check him out on Facebook. Click on the links down below. Go watch his music videos. He's got a couple music videos we helped him make here at Audible Farm. There's all sorts of good stuff online with Clint. It's so much fun to go watch him play live. Just such a fun guy to hang out with. He's everybody's buddy. That's for sure. He's everybody's buddy. And one of my friends, first time he met Clint, he said, "Hey man, if you don't like Clint, I don't know if I'd probably like that person because everybody should like Clint." And that's it's probably true. That's probably true. So go check him out live. Go watch his music. Listen to him tell some stories for you. I might even be clowning around with him. You never know. And other than that, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Go to audiblefarm.com. Find links to everything, including all the social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. While you're at the YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Or wherever you're listening to this, go ahead and subscribe. Leave us a review, too. Pretty much anywhere you can listen to this, you can leave a review in some capacity or another. You can give it a like or a thumbs up or 5 stars and leave a comment or something. So thank you guys for listening each and every week, and appreciate you guys tuning into this one with the guy that's been on the podcast more than anybody. It's Clint. I'll tell you what, he's been pretty pivotal in me going places and playing music. So you got to give back any way you can, man, and I'm happy to give back. So thank you, Clint, and thank you guys for listening. I'm out. Peace.